the fissure where it's erupting from is still elongating. So we don't yet know the full extent of the eruption. It's still under development. But it is in a very similar location as where we've seen the previous 4 eruptions. Those have not behaved completely in a similar way. The first 3 eruptions, sorry, were limited to only less than 3 days, whereas the 4th eruption actually lasted 54 days and only stopped 20 days ago. So this is the 5th eruption, and it's just a very initial phase. There's a lot of gas in the area, and we're just observing closely. The fissure is still possibly extending towards the Grindavik area. We can't say for sure by now if this is the final extent of the fissure, because it takes time for it to completely develop. It usually takes a few hours for it to stabilize. So we can't really say. Therefore, also the entire town has been evacuated prior to the eruption commencing. There's a few people there just working on necessary tasks, but they are ready to evacuate immediately. What we see right now is that there's a strong lava flow traveling towards west in a similar area as has happened twice before, where it comes to the road leading to Svartsengi and Grindavik, so the power plant and the Blue Lagoon. So if that will continue, we will possibly see the lava traveling over the road for a 3rd time. Most likely, the extent of the fissure will stabilize over the next 24 hours. So, and then the activity will focus more into certain areas on the fissure, and not be as it is right now. It's a continuous curtain of fire that is more than 2.5 kilometers long by now. But as it develops with time, it will focus into certain points, and eventually often only 1 or 2 craters will be active on the long run, but we can't say that by now. We're only observing the initial phase by now. All the people at risk have been evacuated, that the evacuations were really effective, well managed, and I think there is no lives at stake, but this is of course in area full of infrastructure, as we have seen before. We had the problems back in January where the hot water supply to the peninsula were cut off. But that is not something that is currently foreseen to be at risk, but it may be a problem as this eruption progresses.
The eruption starts in a narrow section of the fissure system, and then it starts to expand to opposite directions. This is northeast, southwest, and you see more and more fountains of molten lava being thrown into the air, maybe like 50 to 70 meters high. We call them lava fountains. And there are many, many of them along a fissure that's maybe presently maybe 2 kilometers long, could be longer, could be shorter. It's very hard to define from Reykjavik. This will of course continue. The eruption will continue in maybe a few hours or whatever. The fissure stops to extend to either direction. And then it stabilizes. The fountain activity is usually most powerful in the beginning. It abates very slowly, and maybe in the next 24 hours, most of these lava fountains would be lower. Some of the fissure, the parts of the fissure will become extinct, but then it could go on for hours, days, even weeks.